But he could join us. You might be listening on the AM FM dial here in Vegas, or you might be on the Occupied Democrats Network across the World Wide Web. We're on TikTok, Twitch, YouTube. We're all over the place, right? So we appreciate you joining us on the show, and we ask that you subscribe on the Occupied Democrats Network. It's only $5 a month, and it's a cup of coffee, and you get personal interaction with yours truly. We have a big show lined up for you today. We have a lot to get to. Boy, a busy news cycle. It seems like it's been a busy news cycle every day for the last 10 years. I don't know, at least the last 5. And Hunter Biden going directly after Republicans who have pursued him in their impeachment investigation sham, which is just blowing up in their faces, ladies and gentlemen. They're accusing, and Hunter, who is correct, accusing GOP lawmakers in his closed-door deposition of lying with baseless, MAGA-motivated conspiracies about his father. And I agree with Hunter Biden 150%. Look, we're going to have a lot of audio to play for you today. But I want to start out by saying this. Hunter Biden did not invoke the Fifth Amendment once yesterday. Let me repeat that once again, because this is very important to my MAGA friends out there. Hunter Biden didn't invoke the Fifth Amendment one time. Not once. Now, why is this important? Well, usually it was Donald Trump that said, if you invoke the Fifth, you're probably guilty. Well, let's compare to Donald Trump's family. Because just in the last year or so, Eric Trump has invoked the Fifth Amendment not once, not twice, not 3 times, 500 times. Donald Trump, the orange turd, has invoked the Fifth Amendment 440 times. Again, I just repeat myself. Hunter Biden, 0. Eric Trump took it more than 500 times, according to the New York Attorney General's office court filings. 440 plus times Donald Trump has invoked the Fifth. Now, that's one of those statements. While it's somebody's right to invoke the Fifth, I actually agree with Donald Trump. Most cases, if most people invoke the Fifth Amendment, they're probably guilty or they're hiding something. Donald Trump was correct when he made those statements. Hunter didn't invoke the Fifth one time. So why is the Trump family invoking the Fifth so many times? I think I'll try to let you guys come up with your own conclusion on that one. So Hunter Biden entered the House chambers yesterday, and this is a big difference, in my personal opinion, between some of these right-wing reporters and the left-wing media. And I have my assertions and I have my criticisms of people on the far left, some on the far left as well. But it seems like when somebody on the left is about to answer questions and is getting out of his car, these are the types of people on the right that call themselves journalists that are asking and throwing and yelling questions at Hunter Biden. Have a listen to this as he leaves his car yesterday, entering the House chambers.
Hunter, wasn't cocaine at the White House yours? Hunter, did you do cocaine at the White House? Hunter!
Did you intentionally release the laptop?
I mean, absolute complete idiots. Right-wing buffoons, complete idiots. Did you do cocaine at the White House? Asking about Hunter's laptop. These are just complete morons, an embarrassment to journalism. And these so-called reporters, I think the one that was asking the question, did you do cocaine in the White House? Laura Looney, is that her name? I don't know, Looney Tune, whatever the hell her name is. One of the people that works for her. Just complete idiots. An embarrassment to journalism. Those are the types of questions they're asking Hunter Biden. They're trying to embarrass Hunter Biden, who we know have had a drug problem. When it's a Democrat that has had a drug problem, let's go after him and let's mock him. But if it's a Republican that has a drug problem, oh no, they'll never ask those types of questions. It's ridiculous. So after the first hour or so of this hearing, where Hunter Biden answered every single question, and it blew up in Republicans' faces, and the double standard, which we'll get to when it comes to Jared Kushner, here's what Jamie Raskin had to say in front of the media.
You know, every other witness that we've spoken to has confirmed this basic conclusion, that Joe Biden was not involved in Hunter Biden's business ventures. He did not profit from Hunter Biden's business ventures, and he rendered no official favors or benefits to Hunter Biden's business ventures. So I hope that we will test those propositions, and if we are satisfied that he and the dozen other witnesses we've spoken to are telling a coherent and credible story, then this thing is over.
It is over. Jamie Raskin's 100% correct. Isn't that what this is all about? It's not about trying to discredit Hunter Biden, at least it shouldn't be. This is about whether Joe Biden broke the law. That's what this is all about. And so far to this point, Republicans have come up with nothing. They have nothing. There is no evidence that Joe Biden broke the law. There's no evidence that Joe Biden was involved in any of Hunter's business dealings. Zero evidence. Literally nothing. But yet Republicans don't want to talk about Jared Kushner. They don't want to talk about the $2.1 billion. And by the way, Jared Kushner and Donald Trump's daughter, they were actually involved and they worked in Donald Trump's administration. Hunter Biden has always been a private citizen, no matter who his father is. But they don't want to talk about Jared Kushner and the $2.1 billion he received from the Saudis just months after Donald Trump left office. Why is that? They want to talk about Burisma, and they want to talk about the $50,000 that Hunter Biden received monthly. Now, let me be very honest with all of you, as I always am on this show. If those in Congress want to come up with laws where the law would say you can't take advantage of who your family member is, right? You can't take a job and take advantage if your father or mother or anybody in your family holds a high office. If people want to put that into law, then I have absolutely no problem with that. But Hunter Biden, unqualified or not, taking a job with Burisma because of who his father is not breaking the law. Jared Kushner receiving $2.1 billion from the Saudis and possibly changing policy stances on certain issues and funneling money, that very well should and could be against the law. Donald Trump's own daughter receiving $600 million from the Chinese government. But Republicans don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about Hunter Biden's penis, because Marjorie Taylor Greene is upset. Three-toe Marjorie Taylor Greene is certainly obsessed with Hunter Biden's genitalia. And they want to talk about Burisma and how he received $50,000 a month. But what they don't want to talk about is Jared Kushner and other members of Donald Trump's family who absolutely received enormous amounts of money, not thousands, not millions, billions. But Republicans don't want to talk about that. I don't always agree with Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, but I certainly agreed with her yesterday. Here's what she had to say about this sham hearing.
What we just witnessed over the last hour was, I think, a deep-sea fishing expedition, because the Republican case has completely fallen apart over the last several weeks. After it's been exposed that the critical, one of their most key pieces of information was based on a source that was in communication with Russian intelligence, they are now trying to scramble to find anything.
150%, I agree with her. Let's backtrack a few moments. This FBI informant, Jim Jordan, James Comer, all these right-wing MAGA idiots out there, these morons with no credibility and no moral compass who continue to brown-nose Donald Trump, have been telling us for months and months and months that their star witness, who was so credible, this 1093 form, so credible. And now we've learned that not only has this former FBI informant lied, but it was Russian propaganda from his own mouth. He received the information from Russia. It's blown up in their faces, and they still won't let it go. Another guy that I have a tremendous amount of respect for, Dan Goldman, I believe he said it best in his brief comments yesterday about this sham impeachment hearing.
I'll be brief. I want to be very clear. That first hour of this much anticipated testimony was the nail in the coffin to what is a complete bogus and sham impeachment inquiry.
Agree. It's over. Now let's turn the investigation to Jared Kushner and Donald Trump's daughter, who worked in Donald Trump's administration, who we know, based on the Saudi prince, it's been verified. Jared Kushner received $2.1 billion from the Saudis, changed policy. I want to know, those classified documents, did Jared Kushner have access to it after Donald Trump left office? Did he sell some of our most important and secret intelligence? I want an investigation into that moron, Jared Kushner, and his stupid wife, who made $600 million from the Chinese government. That's what I want to know with these Republican hypocrites out there, these people on the far right. It's going to blow up in your face, Gymnasium Jordan and James Comer. It's all going to blow up in your face. Let's hear from Venmo DUI, Matt Gaetz himself, because here's what this complete a-hole, Beavis, as I like to call him, said after the first hour of this hearing. Have a listen to this.
There were a number of interesting moments, but perhaps none more interesting than when Hunter Biden told us that he joined the Burisma board to counter Russian aggression. I hadn't heard that one before. That thank goodness we had Hunter Biden on the Burisma board because that was central to his strategy to stand up to Vladimir Putin.
So that doesn't mean that Hunter Biden broke the law. That doesn't mean that Joe Biden broke the law. You see, what Matt Gaetz just said there is the entire Republican platform of why they're doing this. They're trying to insult, and they're trying to discredit, and they're trying to go after the Biden family with no evidence of actual criminal wrongdoing. Burisma was not breaking the law. Because you see, Hunter Biden could have received $5 million a month, and it wouldn't have changed the fact that that wasn't breaking the law, because there's no evidence that the Republicans have shown that Joe Biden did anything wrong, that Joe Biden broke the law. So the people like Matt Gaetz and James Comer and Jim Jordan, they'll say, well, that's unethical. But guess what? Unethical doesn't necessarily mean they broke the law. And the same people that are complaining about Hunter Biden receiving $50,000 a month from Burisma will not even mention Jared Kushner's name and the fact that he received over $2 billion from the Saudis. They won't even mention the fact that Donald Trump's daughter received over $600 million in trademarks from the Chinese government. They won't mention any of this stuff. Or the Trump crime family, because they're the real crime family here. It's not the Biden crime family. It's the Trump crime family. What do they got on Hunter Biden, by the way, which has nothing to do with Joe Biden in this situation? He had an unloaded gun for, I think, 2 weeks, and he didn't commit a crime with it. It's the only gun in this country that MAGA Republicans care about. The only gun. They don't care about the guns used to massacre our kids in our schools. They don't care about the guns that were used October 1 here. They don't care about the guns that are used in this country where it seems like we have mass shootings in this country every single day. They don't care about those guns, although they'll talk about black on black crime because they love doing that. But they don't want to talk about some of these guns that are used in these mass shootings. No, the only gun that they care about is Hunter Biden's unloaded gun that he had unlawfully for 14 days. And tax evasion. That's what they want to talk about. Yeah, that's really a Make America First platform, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? And then the moron, Nancy Mace, who's been wearing the Donald Trump knee pads now for years. She is a disgraceful, despicable human being. Here's what Nancy Mace had to say, spinning it, but notice how she doesn't talk specifics on what Hunter Biden said. But listen to what Nancy Mace had to say after this.
Things I'm going to say this morning so far in the first hour is that Hunter Biden is being defiant and also dishonest. And his testimony, some of it, is in direct conflict with other witnesses. And so the transcripts will be out. I won't go into detail. You'll be able to see it for yourself. But it's no surprise. It's no surprise.
What was Hunter Biden being dishonest about? If you're going to call Hunter Biden dishonest, why don't you be specific? For example, when I say Donald Trump is dishonest, I talk about the 2020 election when he says he won the election in a landslide. That's what I would say is dishonest. What was Hunter Biden being dishonest about? Why won't she be specific? When she says that it's the opposite of what some witnesses have discussed. What, the FBI informant witness? Is that the witness you're talking about, who is known now to be a liar who got Russian disinformation and shared it with all of you and you bought it? Which witness are you talking about? Because you see, if you're going to call somebody dishonest, or you're going to say Hunter Biden's being dishonest, by the way, he didn't plead the fifth once. He answered all of your stupid questions. Well, why don't you tell us? Why don't you be a little bit more specific? No, Nancy Mace won't do that because she wears the Donald Trump knee pads like so many in the Republican Party do today. And then there's the James Comer spinning action. Spinning and spinning and spinning, because James Comer might be the biggest idiot of them all, right? The biggest smurf of them all, the biggest moron. Listen to James Comer spinning, talking to the media when he knows they have absolutely nothing, and this is just blown up in their faces. Here's what James Comer had to say.
He got $200,000 from it, and the evidence that Jim Biden said. No, listen. Look, you can defend Joe Biden all day long. You can defend Joe Biden. You can be on his legal defense team. Kevin Morris will probably pay your legal bills if you want. But no, I am answering your question. You don't understand what we've said over and over and over. Joe Biden took $200,000 directly from AmeriCorps Health. Do what?
He was a private citizen at the time the $200,000 check was he not?
The $40,000.
$200,000 check that you've said it twice.
So it's okay. So do you have a problem that Joe Biden's lied about this? Do you have a problem that AmeriCorps Health hooked investors?
Unbelievable. Uneffing believable. They're talking about a $200,000 payment that Joe Biden received when he was a private citizen. He wasn't the vice president. Notice how that small little detail James Comer wants to completely and totally avoid. And that reporter is 150% correct. They don't have the facts, but you see, they're worried about a $200,000 payment that Joe Biden received as a private citizen, but they're not worried about a $2.1 billion payment as Jared Kushner received in Donald Trump's administration that he received a couple months after leaving office. They're not worried about that or the $600 million that Ivanka Trump made working in Donald Trump's administration that she received from the Chinese government. They're not worried about that at all. But James Comer's worried about a $200,000 payment, not illegal, by the way, that Joe Biden received before he was vice president when he was not an elected official. Folks, you can't make this stuff up. So as this is blowing up in James Comer's face, and he's trapped, and this reporter keeps pressing him, and James Comer doesn't know what to say because he's a lying fool and he's an idiot and a disgrace to this country. The fact that people could ever vote this moron in is amazing. So what does James Comer do? He goes on the attack and he starts doing what most MAGA Republicans do when they're trapped and they don't have the facts and they don't know what else to say. They go on the offensive and they call a reporter a liberal. Listen to this.
Well, yeah, okay, hey, calm down, it's okay. All the angry liberals, what you're saying, they'll be all right, okay, all right, listen.
All the angry liberals, they'll be all right. Come on, listen, it's $200,000 payment. This guy's so stupid. What a dumbbell. All the angry liberals. See, that's what the MAGA Republicans do when they're trapped. This reporter is doing his due diligence. James Comer's trying to make the case miserably that somehow Joe Biden broke the law because he received a $200,000 payment when he was a private citizen. And the reporter calls him out on it and says, well, wait a second. He wasn't president. He wasn't vice president. How could this possibly be against the law? And James Comer's response is, oh, calm down. You're liberal. Calm down. You're liberal angle. You're liberal angle. That's what these Republicans do. They have nothing. They know that this is a complete sham. And this is the way they're conducting themselves. This is blown up in their faces. Let me repeat once again. Hunter Biden did not plead the fifth once yesterday. He answered every single question under oath truthfully. Made the Republicans look really bad. All the Republicans have is, well, ethically, I think this was wrong. You know, Hunter Biden, he took that $50,000 a month job from Burisma. He was unqualified. Ethically, don't talk to me about ethics when the guy, Donald Trump, who you still support, is facing 91 felony counts. Don't talk to me about ethics when the guy that you still brown nose is a liable rapist. Don't talk to me about ethics when the entire Trump family is the real crime family here. The entire family pleading the fifth over 1,000 times in the last year. Stolen money from their own charities. Give me a break. Funneling money to Donald Trump. The billionaire can't even pay his own bills. Give me a break. Don't talk to me about ethics. There is no ethics when it comes to the last name Trump. It's a joke. And James Comer is spinning, so what does he do? He calls a member of the media a liberal. Calm down, liberal, calm down, because he has nothing. And the Republicans have nothing. Nothing at all. I want to play you some audio from somebody that I consider a decent man and a good, decent Republican man. I don't always agree with Mitt Romney. But like some other Republicans, there's not enough of them. but they are on the right side of history. Don't always agree with Liz Cheney, haven't always agreed with Adam Kinzinger, Chris Christie, but I have respect for them because when push came to shove, they are on the right side of history, and they chose right versus wrong over their own political careers, and Mitt Romney is one of them. And you know what? I don't regret not voting for Barack Obama. I would have been okay with Obama or Romney winning the presidency, and that's why I didn't vote for either of them. I don't always agree with Mitt Romney, but he is a man of character, he has a moral compass, and he is a decent man. So if you're a decent man and you're a Republican with a moral compass, what does the Republican MAGA party do today? They ostracize you. They get you out of the party. You're a rhino, they call you. A rhino. So Caitlin Collins interviewed Mitt Romney on CNN yesterday, and she asked him the question, Trump over Biden. Have a listen to this.
I think that those comments there may raise some questions for people watching at home. Would you vote for Donald Trump over Joe Biden?
No, absolutely not. I mean, for me, there are two factors in deciding who I want to have as the leader of my country and the person who is the example of the president for my kids and my grandkids. One is their position and policies. And on foreign policy, I'm not aligned with Donald Trump, at least as I understand his policy. On domestic policy, yeah, I align with many of his domestic policies. But there's another dimension besides policy, and that's character. And I think what America is as a nation, what has allowed us to be the most powerful nation on earth and the leader of the earth, is the character of the people who have been our leaders, past presidents, but also mothers, fathers, church leaders, university presidents, and so forth. Having a president who is so defaulted of character would have an enormous impact on the character of America. And for me, that's the primary consideration.
And that's how I vote. And I agree with Mitt Romney, and I respect his answer. I'm with him 150%. Sure, policy is important. There might be some policy disagreements you have with the Biden administration. You might like some of Donald Trump's policies. But there's also something called character, and many MAGA Republicans and many of those in the Republican Party today don't care. They don't care about character. They don't have any moral compass. And they'll vote for Donald Trump just because he has an R next to his name. They are pathetic. And as Hillary Clinton used the word, deplorable. And then there are good Republicans out there. There are good, decent Republicans out there. And even though many of them probably won't vote for Joe Biden, some of them will, but many of them won't, they refuse to vote for Donald Trump. Like Mitt Romney, they are Reagan Republicans. They are Republicans with a heart, with a pulse. They are Republicans with a moral compass, and they are willing to call out Donald Trump for who he is. The snake oil salesman, criminal. Yes, I said criminal because he is going to be a convicted felon. I know it's innocent until proven guilty. He's facing 91 felony counts. Donald Trump is going to be a convicted felon. He's already a liable rapist. Mitt Romney is a man of character. He talks about character, and that's how I vote. I don't immediately vote for somebody because they're a Democrat. I don't immediately vote for somebody because they're on the left. If Rashida Tlaib, if I had the opportunity to not vote for her, I wouldn't vote for her. I'd vote for her opponent because I think she's despicable. I don't vote for people because they have a D or an R next to their name. I vote for people starting number one if they have character. Donald Trump has no character. He has no empathy for other people. The way he's treated people his entire life, women, the despicable human being that he is, what he said about POWs, the stuff he said about John McCain, that's what these Republicans do. They only care about remaining in power. Carrie Lake, the despicable, insulting things she said about John McCain, now she realizes she can't win an election in Arizona, so she wants to make good with the McCain family. And Meghan McCain said, no peace, bitch. And I love that, even though I'm not a Meghan McCain fan. She's right. That's what these two-faced Republicans do. Carrie Lake is starting to realize that if you keep saying Donald Trump won the 2020 election, and if you keep talking about election fraud and you go after McCain Republicans, you're never going to win an election. But you see, she should have known that before. But because she has no moral character, she just spewed out what she truly believes, and now she's backtracking what she said, or she's claiming that it was some sort of joke about McCain, which it wasn't, by the way. That's how she truly feels, and that's the way these Republicans feel. There's always going to be a base of the Republican Party that's going to love it when, Donald Trump goes after brown people, when he calls Mexicans rapists, when he attacks women on looks. There's a percentage of the Republican Party that is going to love it when Donald Trump says insensitive, racist, anti-Semitic things. There's a portion of the Republican Party, MAGA Republican deplorables, that love that sort of thing. But that is not going to win Donald Trump an election. It's certainly not going to win the popular vote. He lost the popular vote to Hillary Clinton. He lost the popular vote to Joe Biden miserably. There's always going to be a percentage of the party that is going to like that sort of stuff. It's not going to help the Republican Party win elections, and it's not going to help Donald Trump win election. Into the sham impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden, it's not helping Republicans at all. It's only making it worse for them, and it's blowing up in their faces. And Hunter Biden called the Republican Party liars yesterday when he was under oath. He's correct. And Hunter Biden also called out the double standard. Jared Kushner, $2.1 billion from the Saudis. Ivanka Trump, $600 million in trademarks from the Chinese government. Republicans won't even mention their names. Republicans want to say it's a two-tier justice system. Two-tier? Well, what's going on in these investigations? Why won't you ever talk about Jared Kushner, who actually worked in Donald Trump's administration? Hunter Biden, again, a private citizen. But they don't want to talk about these things. Well, I want to talk about it, and I want to talk about it with you, and I want to take your phone calls. The number to call, if you'd like to be a part of this conversation, 702-221-7283. And again, that number, if you'd like to be a part of the show, 702-221-SAVE. Why is it that the Republicans don't want to talk about Jared Kushner? They don't want to talk about the Trump family. They just want to talk about the Biden family. Why is it that James Comer and Jim Jordan still are looking into Joe Biden, and they still want to interview witnesses when they have literally nothing? Now, if you have evidence you want to present to me, and you feel that somehow Joe Biden committed a crime, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear your conspiracy theories. I'd love to hear if you have any actual real evidence that Joe Biden did anything wrong. Again, that number to call, 702-221-7283, 702-221-7283. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back in 90 seconds, we will be taking your phone calls. We're talking about the impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden, Hunter Biden's testimony yesterday under oath, and then somebody like a Mitt Romney, who so many Republicans out there call a rhino these days, says there is no way he would vote for Donald Trump. In fact, he said he would vote for Joe Biden over Donald Trump. Taking your phone calls on the other side. Again, that number, 702-221-7283. We'll be back in 90 seconds with your phone calls. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
My name is Hunter Kane, and I'm talking with you for a call to action for our veterans in Clark County. Who is Hunter Kane? Well, I'm a decorated combat veteran community leader, and candidate for Clark County Commission. Do you know no veteran has served on the commission in nearly 30 years, which is why our veteran homelessness, unemployment, and suicide rates are out of control. So here's the call to action. June 11th, vote veteran, vote Kane for Clark County. Let's rally behind someone who's been in the trenches, who knows the sacrifices, and who's committed to making a real difference. Join the campaign by searching Elect Hunter Kane on social media or go to www.electhunterkane.com.
Did you know that 99% of air conditioning issues start with airflow issues? Well, guess what? Pioneer Air has your back. They've been operating for 20 years in the industry within the Las Vegas area, large enough to handle all your air conditioning and heating needs, but small enough to know your first name. Pioneer Air focuses on preventative care, much like wellness checks for humans. They believe in wellness checks for air conditioning and heating systems to extend the life of the system you own. So what are you waiting for? Schedule your wellness check with Pioneer Air today. The number to call is 702-831-4840. Here's the best news. Mention this ad and you'll receive 10% off. Call Pioneer Air today. 702-831-4840. That number again, 702-831-4840.
I'm Eva Chase, a candidate for Nevada State Assembly District 16, former Lieutenant Governor candidate, Progressive Independent Democrat, U.S. Air Force veteran, college graduate, fully transitioned transgender woman. I support women's rights and veterans and unions and other progressive ideas. Please donate to my campaign on Spot Fund and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X. Stay progressive, everybody.
Buying or selling a home is a huge life event that requires guidance from an expert in the industry and community. My name is Blake Wynn. You may recognize my name as my grandfather was the best governor the state of Nevada has ever had. Growing up in Las Vegas, I've come to know this community intricately. Now, I am raising a family here as well. So I understand all the issues impacting our home and quality of life. As the top realtor for the #1 real estate team at Keller Williams, you can have confidence in my experience, knowledge, and track record. When it comes to buying, selling, or investing in real estate, choose a name you can trust and someone who understands the community you call home. Call Blake Wynn today and experience the difference of a trusted expert. 702-540-3311.
There you go. That's the theme song at CPAC, ladies and gentlemen. Those bumbling fools. Trump won and you know it. We got dead people voting, Numchuck. Did you know that? There's dead people voting. All right, I can't take it anymore. Turn it off. Trump won and you know it. Yeah, that's the CPAC convention, ladies and gentlemen. A bunch of conspiracy theorist idiots. If you're just joining us, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits. We're taking your phone calls, and what we are discussing today is what I would certainly consider a baseless charade, and I think Hunter Biden would label it as that as well. This impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden, literally zero evidence that Joe Biden did anything wrong, committed any crimes. And Hunter Biden, under oath yesterday, answered every question, didn't plead the fifth, yet the Donald Trump family alone has pleaded the fifth over 1,000 times. Donald Trump over 400 times in the last year. Number to call if you'd like to be a part of the conversation, 702-221-7283, 702-221-7283. My blood pressure is actually pretty good today. I was feeling pretty good. It might get a little higher after this phone call. I don't know, but we will lead off with Julie. Hello, Julie. Thanks for calling in. What's on your mind?
Hello, Brian. Yes, you mentioned about Burisma. I don't know if you remember back in, it was, I believe, 2016, probably March 2016. I can't remember specifically right now. But Biden described, and this was caught on camera and video, you can Google it, that he threatened President Petro Poroshenko, right? That the Obama administration will put $1 billion in U.S. loan guarantees, sending the former Soviet toward insolvency, and he didn't immediately fire prosecutor.
Yes. Do you understand why? Do you know why that Joe Biden wanted him fired? Julie?
If you need explanation for that,
Julie,
you have a low IQ. I'm sorry.
Julie,
If you cannot
Julie,
connect the
I let
dots,
you talk. Julie, now it's my turn. Julie, that means now you stop talking and I interject if you're capable. That's why I always have to pod you down, because if I just let you keep talking, you're going to talk for 15 minutes and I'll lose all my listeners. So, Julie, are you aware, because I would imagine you're probably not because you watch Newsmax and Fox News and OAN, are you aware of the facts of why Joe Biden wanted to fire that prosecutor? And are you also aware of how many Republicans supported Joe Biden in going after that prosecutor wanting him fired? Do you know why Joe Biden wanted him fired? Are you aware?
Because, yes, of course, they were investigating Burisma. That's
okay,
why.
pot her
And
down.
Don was
Again,
involved.
this might be a shocker to my audience, but Julie, again, has absolutely no idea what she's talking about. Just Google it, Julie. Just Google it, as you say. So, Julie, the reason why, and you could look this up if you don't believe me, because I would imagine you don't, because you listen to everything you hear from right-wing media. So, Julie, you can look this up. He had overwhelming support from Republicans as well. And he is on the record as saying the reason why, and the reason why so many Republicans wanted this prosecutor to be fired, is because he wasn't doing enough to prosecute people. It had nothing to do with an investigation into Burisma. You are mistaken. You have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. Again, I'm waiting for the day that you actually say something that makes sense, Julie. Every time you call into the show, you say things that are not factually accurate. Now, I'm not going to get into an argument with you whether the earth is flat or round. You can look that up for yourself. He had hundreds of Republicans that were on his side that wanted this prosecutor to be fired because he wasn't doing enough to prosecute people in Ukraine. It had nothing to do with the investigation into Burisma. And again, I'm not surprised, Julie, that you have no idea what you're talking about.
You have no idea what you're talking about.
Right, I have no idea. Right.
Those
Julie,
Republicans are
got you.
involved in the corruption.
So Julie, it is Europe. What you are saying on the show is the reason why Joe Biden wanted this prosecutor fired is because Joe Biden was prosecuting Burisma. Julie, you are flat out wrong, and you could look that up. I'm not going to get into a stupid debate with you on whether the earth is round or flat. You literally have no idea what you're talking about, Julie. And quite frankly, it's very frustrating to me when you call into the show. It's okay to have a different opinion, but you don't know what you're talking about. So if you'd like to bring up anything else, that's fine.
And you believe everything.
You believe everything. Hey, Julie.
Everything.
Julie, who won the 2000? Put her down. Julie, who won the 2020 election? Speaking of believing everything, Julie, who won the 2020 election? Who won?
Ivanka. Do you want to talk about Ivanka?
Julie, I need you to pay attention, Julie. I'm asking you a very direct question. It wasn't about Ivanka. Julie, who won the 2020 election? Let's put her down again. Julie, this is the point where I ask you a question in the conversation. Does Julie ever stop talking? How'd you like to be married to Julie? Hey, Julie, put your husband on the phone, Julie. I want to know how he puts up with you. Julie, put your husband on the phone. Can you put your husband on the phone? Are you married, Julie, or was that a lie too?
My husband is not next to me right now.
Where is he? Where's your husband? How does he put up with you, Julie? Be honest.
That's none of your business, Brian.
How on earth does your... Julie, how many ex-husbands do you have, Julie?
Why do you wear a hat?
Julie, how many ex-husbands do you have?
You had a complex
Julie.
of being bald.
No. I have very high testosterone. Julie, I have high testosterone. That's why. Julie, I love being bald. I shave my head. I wear a hat because it's stylish, and I like wearing a hat. You're just an idiot. Have a nice day, Julie. I feel horrible. I feel horrible for every ex-husband you've ever had. Julie, have a nice day. Have a nice day, Julie.
Because you have complex.
I have complex? I live in a complex. Yes, you're right. I do. I live in a complex, Julie. You're right.
Some investigation, independent investigation.
Independent
no propaganda.
I think we should have an independent investigation of how many ex-husbands you
have.
Are
not an
Julie, have a nice day. Julie, you're pure comedy. I'll always take your call. Have a nice day, Julie. I have very high testosterone, Julie. No, and I actually like shaving my head. I enjoy it. It's a good look. The only bad part about being bald, and this is the embarrassing part, is I look like some of those insurrectionist white supremacists, the people that you support that stormed the Capitol. 702-221-7283. And again, the number if you'd like to be a part of the show. How many ex-husbands do you think Julie has? Honestly, no, Chuck. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, if there was a bet, an over-under, would you say 3 or 4? Or like, how many ex-husbands?
At least 3.
How'd you like to be married to her?
At least 3.
How would you like to be married to Julie?
No.
Wow.
Nope.
Wow. Interesting, huh? 702-221-7283 is the number to call. And again, that number, if you'd like to be a part of the show, 702-221-7283 is the number if you'd like to be a part of the program. Let's go to Patrick. I believe we have Patrick next on Pushing the Limits. Let's go to Patrick. Hello, Patrick. Thank you for calling in. What's on your mind?
Yeah. I see you're a big fan of Mitt Romney, man. I just want to explain to you why Mitt Romney...
Never said I was a big fan of Mitt Romney. So again, the first 3... Hold on. Okay. Patrick. The first 3 seconds of this phone call, you mischaracterized my opinion, so now I'm going to have to explain it to you. Okay, Patrick? I never said I was a big fan of Mitt Romney. I said I had respect for Mitt Romney. Do you not understand the difference?
You speak positively of Mitt Romney more than most Republicans.
Okay, I never said I was a big fan. The reason why I speak more positively, as you said, and I agree with that, over other Republicans is because Mitt Romney is willing to choose right over wrong, even if it means his own political career. Does that not make sense? Does that not make sense? He's a loser. Okay, why is he a loser? Tell us. Why is he a loser?
Well, he gave us Obama, man.
He gave us Obama. So is Trump a loser because he gave us Biden? Going by your train of thought, your very intelligent train of thought.
Hey,
no, hold on. Romney, hold on, pot him down. So Patrick, hang on. I want to have a conversation with you because I'm just going by your own words. Romney's a loser because he gave us Obama. So by that standard, because Romney lost an election to a Democrat, he's a loser. So Donald Trump lost to Joe Biden. Would you also characterize Donald Trump as a loser? He gave us Biden, yes or no?
Donald Trump will be the first president in human history to
Didn't ask you that. You're going to answer my question, or I'm not going to listen. I'll repeat it again. You just called Mitt Romney a loser because he gave us Obama. Going by that standard, Donald Trump gave us Joe Biden, right? Because he lost to Joe Biden. So would you also characterize Donald Trump as a loser, yes or no?
Most people don't think Trump lost.
Okay, I don't care what most idiots like you think. I'm asking you a question
Hey, why do you
based
have to
on what
insult
you
everybody? If you had substance,
pot
you
him
wouldn't have to.
down. Pot him down. I have a lot of substance, my man. It's why I have a following and I get 50,000 views per day and nobody knows who the hell you are because I have substance. And unlike you, you can't even have a semi-intelligent conversation with somebody like you. But I'm going to try to. And the reason why I call you an idiot, Patrick, is because you just called Mitt Romney a loser because he gave us Obama. And that's fine. If you have that opinion, even though I disagree with it, you're entitled to your opinion. But you see, Patrick, people that are hypocrites and are not consistent. So I'm going to ask you one more time. By your theory or opinion or whatever you want to call it, that Mitt Romney, by your standards, is a loser because he gave us Barack Obama, losing the election to Obama. I'm now asking you for the fourth time, which you failed to answer. Did Donald Trump give us Joe Biden? And would you also call Donald Trump a loser because he lost an election to Joe Biden? It's a very simple question, Patrick.
Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right. He's a loser. He's a huge loser. Now listen to this.
Okay, so you're being facetious and you're not being honest, but I'm just going by your own logic, and that's why I call you an idiot. See, you're being facetious. Great. Okay, it is great. So don't call me. Hey, so Bozo. Hey, Bozo. Don't call Mitt. If you think Mitt Romney's a loser, that's fine. I'll hear you out on it. But if you're going to say Mitt Romney's a loser because he lost an election, but you're not willing to say Donald Trump's a loser because he lost an election, that makes you an idiot, Patrick. Now do you understand my logic? Go ahead. Bring up something else ignorant. Go ahead. Now that we've proven you're an idiot, go ahead.
Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Only one that was on the Burisma board. You had Paul Pelosi Jr., you had John Kerry's son, you had Mitt Romney's son.
What law was broken? What law was broken? What law was broken?
Hey, it's just a sign of the days that we're living in.
So you don't like the ethics. Got
it. We have a uniparty that's corrupt.
Okay, so you don't like the ethics. So would you? Okay, so let's go with that for a moment, Patrick.
You're going to talk about Jared Kushner.
So let's go with that for a moment, Patrick. Let's go with
Jared Kushner.
No. Here's what I'm going to bring up. Nope, I wasn't going to bring up Jared Kushner. Yeah, you don't like. Nope, I wasn't. If you're capable of listening, so you don't like ethically. You don't like the fact that Hunter Biden took a job that he probably wasn't qualified for, and he took $50,000 a month. So, Patrick, are there
I'm mad that all these politicians are doing it.
Patrick,
all these people shouldn't be doing it, not just Hunter.
Patrick, hear me out on this because we might actually agree on this one if you're willing to hear me out on this. So, Patrick, I said this in the first segment. You obviously didn't listen or didn't care to listen. If people in Congress, Republicans and Democrats, want to put laws on the books that say you can't take advantage of who a family member is. Notice how I'm not saying Republican or Democrat. If Congress, and they want to put laws on the books so that people like a Hunter Biden or a Jared Kushner or anybody, quite frankly, can't take advantage of who a family member is and get a job that they're not qualified for, guess what, Patrick? I'm all for it. But there are no laws on the books today that say that. So while you can say, boy, the ethics of Hunter Biden and taking a job, while you can dislike it, it's not against the law. And this impeachment inquiry they're trying to make the case that somehow Joe Biden broke the law. He didn't break the law. If you want to agree with me that there should be laws on the books to stop somebody like Hunter Biden for taking a job like that, I'm with you. I agree with you. But there was no law that was broken, Patrick, unless you want to tell me right now what law was broken.
No, I think we're on the same page there, Brian. Congratulations, man. We agree on something. That's great, man.
Okay, so did Joe Biden break the law? What law was broken?
Well, they're cross-referencing the information they have on the book.
What information? What information? What law was broken? Please tell me.
They have wire transfers. They have bank statements. They have a laptop. They have all kinds of information. And my question to you is...
Wait, Patrick. I'm not going to answer your question until you answer mine. Just because you say they have information, that's not a statute. No law was broken. I'm asking you again. Now, you could either answer it honestly. The answer is there's no evidence that a law was broken, or you can fumble your words and say the laptop. So answer my question. Hold on, Patrick. Answer my question honestly. Name me the specific law that Joe Biden broke. Go.
There's an investigation going on, just like the Russian collusion thing.
Pot him down again. My question has nothing to do with Russian collusion. We know an investigation has been going on. It's been going on for years now. So, Patrick, name me the law. Why is it that I have to ask you the same question 5 times? If you don't know the answer, then say, I don't know. But don't spin it and say, well, the investigation is still going on. They have information. Patrick, I'm going to ask you one more time, and then you can ask me a question, but I'd like you to answer it, please. And if you don't know the answer to it, then tell me. That's fine. People ask me questions. I don't always have the answer. Patrick, can you name me the specific law or laws that Joe Biden broke? Go ahead.
We will find out soon enough.
Okay, so Patrick, is it a fair? I don't care what you think it sounds like. So Patrick, is it a fair characterization to say that, Patrick, you don't know what laws were broken? Is that a fair?
We have to investigate.
Patrick, hey Patrick, what's been going on? Patrick, what's been going on? Patrick, what's been going on the last 2 years? Patrick, what's been going on the last 2 years? What have it?
Why does he have pseudo emails with fake names?
Patrick, I don't want to hear.
Why can't you answer any of my questions?
Patrick,
why does he have all these shell companies?
Why does he have all these shell companies? What do you mean by that, Patrick? How does he have what do you mean? By the way, Patrick, I'm going to ask you again.
You don't know what a shell company is?
Oh, no, I do know what a shell company is. I also know what a MAGA moron is, and you're absolutely that, Patrick. I waste my time talking to you, but I appreciate the phone call. Notice how Patrick can't directly answer one question. By the way, there's no evidence, Patrick, just to answer my own questions because you're not capable. Maybe you just don't have the brain power. I don't know. So what have we learned in this conversation? Patrick can't name one law that was broken. Okay? Can't name one law that was broken in this conversation. Patrick called Mitt Romney a loser. I said, Patrick, why is Mitt Romney a loser? He said, because he gave us Barack Obama. Meaning Patrick thinks anybody's a loser as a Republican if they lose an election to a Democrat. So I asked him the same standard, going by his ridiculous logic. Would you call Donald Trump a loser because he gave us Joe Biden? Patrick won't respond. He won't answer that. Why is that, Patrick? Patrick, I just go by your own ignorant logic, my friend. I appreciate your phone call. 702-221-7283. Please go to Shell today and fill up your gas tank so you can pay the Biden family. I hope you do that. Let's go to Lori. Lori's next. What's up, Lori?
Oh, my head's spinning.
So's mine.
One, Patrick, the Shell company.
Yeah.
That was when he was not president or vice president. They have 0 bank records of Biden. The only bank records they have are Hunter's. They don't have his brothers. They don't have Joe's. They only have Hunter's bank records. So,
right. Well, listen, Patrick has.
You don't know what you're talking about.
No, Patrick has absolute. But every time he calls in, he has no idea what he's talking about, just like Julie. But I got to get those two together, and maybe they can both go on a date together, and maybe Julie can work on her 6th ex-husband. Yes.
Right. Yeah. What I was going to say was originally was about this impeachment hearing. The problem with congressional hearings is that they don't follow the guidelines like a prosecutor would have to. If you get arrested, a prosecutor is going to look at the facts, and only if the chances are 60% or greater that he's going to get a conviction are you even going to go to a trial.
Right.
These congressional hearings can be brought up on what we found out now, false piece of information.
Yeah, Lori, this reminds me of a little bit. It reminds me of the
such a waste of tax money.
I agree. The Hillary Clinton days. Do you remember after Benghazi were a horrible tragedy? We lost 4 lives, terrible. Right. And then Republicans all blamed Hillary Clinton, right? So then we heard this for how many months and years that Hillary Clinton was responsible. And then Hillary Clinton did what Donald Trump will not do. She testified under oath in front of Congress. There were 8 Republican-led investigations into Hillary Clinton. And what did the Republicans come up with? Nothing. Nothing. They're going to come up with nothing when it comes to Joe Biden. It's a sham. And I want Jared Kushner investigated. I want the Trump family investigated. I want Ivanka Trump investigated. Jared Kushner received $2.1 billion. What if somebody in Joe Biden's administration received a $2.1 billion check from the Saudis? You think Republicans wouldn't care about that? It's a joke. It's a joke.
maybe spinning.
Yeah, just like James Comer's been spinning. Oh, you liberals, you angry liberals. Yeah, you got nothing, you right-wing hack. You got nothing. They got nothing on Joe Biden.
Right, and as far as Benghazi, they sort of shut up as soon as the Democrats put it out that it was actually Bush and his administration that took away security from that exact embassy.
Right. No, exactly. You know, listen, this is blowing up in Republicans' faces. It's an embarrassment to the country. James Comer, Gymnasium Jordan, Matt Gaetz, Lauren Boebert, by the way, her son just charged with 22 counts, serious felony counts. These are all embarrassing people. You know, you'll have Republican members of office who will talk about the Biden crime family, allegedly, when there's no crime that Joe Biden has committed and there's no evidence. And yet hours later, a member of their own family will be sent to jail. I mean, it's just, you cannot make this stuff up with these people. They are deplorables. Hillary Clinton was right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Lori, it is good to hear from you. I appreciate your call. I hope you have a great rest of your Thursday, okay?
You too.
Thank you very much. Lori, calm me down. I appreciate that. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Fred. Fred is next up on Pushing the Limits. What's up, Fred?
Hey, good afternoon. My question is about the Middle East.
Do me a favor, Fred. If you can, just lower your, wherever you're watching or listening to the show, just lower that because there's a little bit of delay. If you could do that for me, that'd be great.
Better?
Perfect. Thank you, Fred.
Cool.
Go right ahead.
My question is, where's the PLO? It still exists, and they're supposed to be the guardians of the Palestinians. Where the hell have they been in it all this time?
Yeah, well, that's a very good point. Listen, what frustrates me, Henry, more than anything, is that we have so many issues to deal with in this country, right? Obviously, the issues at the border, Middle East, Ukraine, healthcare, you name it. There's so many real issues that this country is facing. And Swalwell, I think, said it best yesterday. He said, listen, we want to focus on these issues, including the border, but the Republicans want to focus on Hunter Biden's penis. I mean, you can't take these people seriously. You just can't.
No, you can't.
Yeah, and it's frustrating, right? Because, Democrats aren't perfect, but they want to work with Republicans. They want to fix the border crisis. There are things in this country that, need attention: gun control, health care, maternity leave, raising minimum wage, right? There's so many different issues that good Americans, Republicans and Democrats, care about. But the House Republicans only care about Hunter Biden's genitalia and how much cocaine he's done in his life. I mean, I don't know why I don't know why people keep voting these types of people in office. I don't.
I don't either. I don't understand them. I mean, I'm the same age as Trump.
Yeah.
Born in the same New York area.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's a draft dodging traitor.
Oh, you're damn right he is. I agree with you 100%. But he's got those bone spurs, so he'll use the bone spurs for sexual. I might have raped that woman. It was the bone spurs that did it. I mean, listen. I have had it with Republicans that will vote for Donald Trump because he has an R next to his name. You can't use the excuse of policy anymore. You're voting for a liable rapist. You're voting for a man facing 91 felony counts. You're voting for a man with no moral compass who attacks our POWs, women on looks. So the excuse of, I like his policies. I don't like some of Joe Biden's policies. Guess what? That doesn't fly for me anymore. You could have used that excuse maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and even then I disagreed with you, but you certainly can't use that excuse now. Good to hear from you, my friend. I appreciate the phone call, and you have a great rest of your day, okay, my friend?
All right, take care.
You too. All right, who do we got next? 702-221. Was that Henry who just called in, or are we going to Henry now? I'm sorry. 702-221-7283. Henry, what's going on?
I was listening, of course, but as you were talking, I had a couple questions for you.
Sure.
Has anybody looked into the Kushner and Ivanka Trump transactions, and why hasn't there been a case opened against them?
Sure. Well, here's what I can tell you on that. There are House Democrats that are actually on the floor today that are calling for an investigation. Here's what we do know. We know that the Saudi prince is on the record admitting that he gave a $2.1 billion payment to Jared Kushner. Here's what we also know. Donald Trump didn't send Mike Pompeo to Saudi Arabia the last 6 months of his administration. Guess who he sent? Jared Kushner. We know that Jared Kushner received this payment a couple months after Trump left office. So those are the facts, right? And I'm with you. We need every Democrat to stand up and raise their hand, because we know a lot of the Republicans won't do it, and say, we need an investigation into Jared Kushner. Now, some of them are doing that right now, and even there are a few Republicans that are starting to say that. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, and I hope he's investigated, because there's overwhelming evidence of what took place there.
Yeah, I was just wondering why no one opened up an investigation.
Well, there should be. There absolutely should be. I mean, there should be.
And then I got another question.
Okay.
Have you seen those polls today? I keep hearing about how bad Trump is, but those poll numbers are 9%, 6%. He's winning in Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just wondering what your take is on that.
Sure. It's a fair question, and here's my take on it. So back in 2016, every single poll, as you recall, showed that Hillary Clinton was going to win that election in a landslide. Literally every poll, even the Fox News polls, right? And then Donald Trump won. And I never said Donald Trump didn't win a free and fair election. He did. He defeated Hillary Clinton for a lot of different reasons. He campaigned better. Hillary Clinton did not do a good job campaigning. And Donald Trump won. So after 2016, I said to myself, I'm not going to pay attention to the polls. Now, I don't know which polls you're referring to, because there's a lot of different polls out there. Some say different.
I don't know how to say it, Quinnipiac and the Bloomberg poll.
Quinnipiac, yeah. So there are some polls that are saying Donald Trump is beating Joe Biden by a few points. There's other polls that are saying Joe Biden's. I try not to look into it, especially this early, because November is still a ways away. I don't pay any attention to any of the polls. If they said Joe Biden was winning by 10 points, I wouldn't believe that either. I do believe that Joe Biden is going to win in November. I could be wrong, but I do believe that Joe Biden's going to win. And me personally, I'm not going to be paying attention to any polls, because they were all wrong in 2016. That's just my personal opinion.
Fair.
Yep. All right, my friend, I appreciate the phone call. Thank you for calling in. Good questions. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Again, that number, 702-221-SAVE. If you are also one of Julia's ex-husbands, I would love to hear from you, and I would like to know how many earplugs you've bought in your life. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Pim. Pim is next up on Pushing the Limits. What's up, Pim?
Well, I get to talk to you again today. I'm on the same page with you with the Trumpeteers. They're just so ignorant. I can't even be bothered speaking to them anymore. It's like, it drives me insane, makes my blood pressure go up, and I have to give it to you. I mean, you're amazing. I love that you tell them off, because I've been doing it for 4 years now, and it doesn't seem to get me anywhere, but you know what, I don't care.
You have to use facts.
It is what it is.
You have to use facts. And if somebody says that Joe Biden is a criminal and they call them the Biden crime family, simply ask them what crime Joe Biden has committed. Obviously, Doofus Patrick, who called in, I asked him 4 times and he couldn't directly answer the question. So when somebody says that somebody committed a crime or they're a criminal, example, I called Donald Trump a criminal. I named the 91 felony counts, and I assure you that he's going to be a convicted felon. He's also a liable rapist. That was proven in a courtroom, a liable sexual abuser. I characterize that as rape, just like the judge did. So it's very easy to call out these people. And by the way, I don't call them a name unless they make a fool of themselves. Example, when somebody says Mitt Romney, and by the way, I don't think Mitt Romney's a loser. I think he's a decent man with a nice family, a good husband, good father. But if somebody characterizes Mitt Romney a loser because he lost the election to Barack Obama, the same standard would be put forth towards Donald Trump, who lost to Joe Biden. But you see, somebody like Patrick, he's so illogical and ignorant. I'm just using his own standards, and he can't even answer,
Oh, yeah, definitely. The other thing I had to say to you is you need to hook up with Rachel Maddow.
You're gonna...
Seriously, you have to get in touch with her. I think between the two of you, you're going to blast it.
You might not like what I have to say about this, but you know what? I appreciate that compliment, but I'm always honest with my listeners. I'm not a huge Rachel Maddow fan. I'm not saying she's a bad person. I don't think she's I think she's a very intelligent lady. I just don't find her show very entertaining. Like, I want to be informed, but I also want to be a little entertained. I find her show a little bit dry. I think Joy...
It has been lately, yeah. Ever since she's only gone to 1 day a week, it's like she's going through the entire history of the Civil War.
Yeah.
If you didn't go to school, it's nice.
Well,
or
Nikki
you don't
Haley,
know anything about it, that's
if
nice.
there's anybody that needs to watch that show, it's Nikki Haley. That's
Right.
For sure. Yeah, that's for sure. No, listen, I think
that might help her out a little bit.
It might. Listen, I think
No
Rachel.
guarantees, though.
Rachel Maddow's a nice lady, but I'll be honest with you. I don't watch a lot of MSNBC. I think, I think their morning show's very good, but I don't watch a ton of MSNBC. Listen, here's what I do. I don't enjoy watching Fox News, right? But sometimes I have to watch because I want to hear what the Looney Tunes on the right are saying.
Me too. It's a comparison.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll watch somebody who I do have respect for, even though he's a little snippy. I'll watch Anderson Cooper. I'll watch a little bit of Cuomo, even though he's not on CNN anymore. But I think he's a fair guy. I like Jake Tapper. I think he's a very good journalist, right? And then I'll watch a little bit of Fox News, right? And the headlines on Fox News will be about Hunter Biden's penis. Meanwhile, CNN, they're actually talking about real issues facing the American people. So
exactly.
That's what I try to do. But yes, it is very easy to.
I did like the one that they got rid of. Can't think of his name now. He was amazing. What the heck was his
Don
name?
Lemon. Not Don Lemon. I'm not a Don Lemon fan.
On MSNBC.
Hassan? Mehdi Hassan?
No, they didn't call him boss. What the heck did they call Hardball? Is it Hardball?
I don't recall. We'll look that up. But send
I
Rachel.
mean, he's gone, but I mean, he was so much like you that it's amazing.
Oh, that's funny.
He said it like it is.
Yeah,
and
well, I try to, but I want you to reach out to Rachel Maddow for me, and she would be welcome on this show anytime. So,
that would be great.
I would love to talk to her, and I appreciate your phone call, and I'd love to talk to you. I appreciate you. Thanks for calling in, okay?
Take care now.
Appreciate
Bye-bye.
you. You take care as well. I'm just not a big Rachel Maddow fan. It's nothing personal. I'm just not. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Mary. Mary is next up. Hi, Mary.
Hi. There's this movie called A Face in the Crowd with Andy Griffith, and it is creepy, the correlations between that movie and Trump. How Trump got in. Andrew Griffith played this, I'm just a good old country boy, and then he just like almost everything that Trump did, and then in the end he actually ended up getting got because they got him on air telling him how stupid he actually thought his people that followed him were.
I'm going to have to watch that
And so
movie.
he lost.
Mary, I said, Mary, I'm going to have to watch that movie. I want to ask you a question, and it might be an inappropriate one. Can you imagine having to be married to Donald Trump? Can you imagine having to be conceiving a child with that man? The hell that must be.
I just kind of think that maybe they're in it for the money because
you think? Yeah. You think? Yeah, I would tend to agree.
Maybe 5,000 years ago he had some he had some charm. But
Can you imagine?
Whatever charm he had.
Can you imagine just having to see that guy with his shirt off?
No. And hey, I'm Chunky. I think Chunky can be beautiful, but
it can be, but not if you're Orange Man. Not if you're Orange Man.
No. Because but your personality and your kindness and
Donald Trump
be a pretty Chunky person.
Yeah, Donald Trump seems like such a kind human being, huh? Such a man of empathy. He cares about people, right? I mean, you know what's funny, Mary, and pathetic? I was in the Trump Tower once in my life, and I was in there grabbing a drink. This was years back. And me and my friend were having this conversation, and she was like, geez, I wonder how many in these rooms in the Trump Tower that Donald Trump cheated on his wives in. Probably every room in this hotel, But
Probably.
hey, the evangelical right, they support this guy. The ultra-religious Christians. Yeah, the ultra-religious Christians support Donald Trump. I mean, I
know. It makes no sense.
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, shocking that Melania Trump. I thought Melania Trump married Donald Trump for his lavishly good looks and personality. That's what I thought. I guess I was wrong. You set me straight. I appreciate that. Well, I appreciate you calling in. And your Donald Trump Superman poster, topless Superman poster, is in the mail. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I appreciate your phone call. Thank you for putting up with my very immature sense of humor. I appreciate that. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. And again, 702-221-7283 is the number to call. I think our last caller was talking about Chris Matthews from MSNBC. Wasn't a huge Chris Matthews fan either, to be honest with you. Not to be confused with Chris Matthews, who's a great sportscaster here in Las Vegas. He's a great guy. Let's go to Carl. Why don't we go to Carl next? By the way, the number to call if you want to be a part of the show, 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Carl. What's up, Carl? How's it going, man?
Yeah, what's up, Brian? Listen, I want to slightly change the subject. I think there's a problem going on with what happened yesterday in Israel. The Israeli army in Gaza opened fire on a bunch of people waiting for food in a food line and killed like over 100 of them. Now, I think that makes Israel look very bad. I'm a supporter of Israel, and I think they should exist.
Yeah.
But I think Netanyahu is a clone of Donald Trump, and he's trying to, for some reason, get the United States to go against Israel. Why? I don't know.
Yeah. So, Carl, let me respond to that, and I'm glad you brought that up, Carl. I'm not a huge Benjamin Netanyahu fan. I agree with you that I believe, of course, Israel deserves to exist. And what Hamas did was, their version of 9/11, and they certainly have a right to defend themselves, and I'm sure you would agree with me on that. With that being said, I agree with Joe Biden where he says, listen, they have a responsibility to do whatever they can to limit the amount of innocent casualties. Unfortunately, there's going to be innocent people that are going to lose their lives in war, but there's no question that Israel needs to do a better job. While they have the right to defend themselves and Hamas needs to be destroyed, it's not just good for Israel, it's good for the world. It's also good for the Palestinian people as well, and so many Palestinians don't want to address that. But you're right. I mean, listen, Israel has a responsibility. Benjamin Netanyahu is a far right-winger, and I don't always agree with his stances on a number of different issues. Yes, they have a right to defend themselves. There's no question about that. I don't want to see any innocent people die. Unfortunately, in war, that's going to happen.
But the thing is, he ordered his troops to go in and mow down a bunch of refugees waiting in line for food. I mean, that looks bad to the world. How does it look to the world against Israel? It makes more Israeli haters.
Yeah, we certainly don't want that, and I know Joe Biden is very frustrated with that as well. He's actually talked about that, and a lot of people around the Biden camp know that the frustration with the Israeli government is growing.
Yeah.
We're just going to have to wait and see how this thing plays out.
Well,
Carl, yeah.
Netanyahu's under indictment anyway, and I think they should get him out of office. They need somebody who's a little more, who's a little more reasonable.
I agree.
Let's put it that way.
They need a new president. There's no question about that. Carl, I got to get to some other callers. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Vivian. Vivian is next up on Pushing Limits. Hi, Vivian.
Hi, how are you doing today?
Good. What's on your mind, Vivian?
Okay, I'm from New York, right? And I knew from the start that Donald Trump was the wrong person to be for president because he was nothing but a crook. It was all over New York. But for some reason, nobody believed it. And now that it's all coming to fruition, it's like, why didn't you believe what people were telling you he was a crook?
Well, because they're suckers, right? It's interesting because Donald Trump called our brave men and women in uniform suckers and losers. The real suckers and losers are the ones that believe everything that comes out of Donald Trump's mouth. Those are the real suckers and losers. The ones that are paying $400 for Donald Trump sneakers. The ones that have donated to his campaign to fight voter integrity and voter fraud. Those are the actual real suckers and losers, those who still continue to support him.
And that's why I don't understand the people in Florida who go for these Republicans when they're willing to try and take everything away from you, Social Security and Medicaid and everything. And not only that, the people who vote for blacks for Trump and the Latinos for Trump, I'm like, he's going to take everybody and just deport you. So why do you want to be with them? It doesn't make any sense to me. And it's so hard. I mean, I admire the fact that you still try and talk to these people.
Yeah, I try.
I try. Whatsoever.
No, they
I mean, it's like totally like talking to a brick wall.
You know what's interesting? New Yorkers like yourself, there's a lot of New Yorkers like you who just can't stand Donald Trump. People, Donald Trump's like, oh, well, I'm a New Yorker. I tell it like it is. No, you don't. You're a liar. You know what I love about New Yorkers, and I'm from close to that area? They do tell it like it is, but they're honest. Here's who I am. If you don't like it, screw you. That's a New Yorker. They're honest. They're in your face. This is who I am. Donald Trump is the opposite of that. He wakes up in the morning in front of the mirror, puts on his 5 layers of orange makeup, tries to pretend like he's a man in good shape. And boy, they're taking pictures of me and I look fat. No, because you are. That's why. You're morbidly obese. And like he tries to be somebody he's not with his fake hair and his fake tan and his fake everything. He's not a New Yorker. When I think of a real New Yorker, they're real. They don't get more real than New Yorkers. Donald Trump is the opposite of that. He's fake in every way, shape, or form. He's a fake. He's a con artist.
I just want to make sure that you keep up the good work because we need somebody to really confront these people because not enough people are telling them the truth and making them face what they actually are saying and what they actually believe in because they actually watch that stupid Fox Entertainment, that's what I call it.
Yeah.
Fox Entertainment, and they do everything that's on there and don't look no further than what them people are saying on that. And those people should be sued again.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you
What they
this.
did to the-
As long as there's good people like you out there that continue to support and watch this show, I'm going to keep doing my thing. So I appreciate you calling in, and you call back anytime, okay?
Thank you.
All
Take
right.
care, Brian.
You take care as well. Thank you. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. We're going to take a few more calls, then we're going to go to break because we have a guest coming up next. Eva Chase is going to be joining us in studio. She is a transgender woman running for office as a Democrat. Boy, do I have a lot of questions for her. A few more calls, then we'll take a quick break. Let's go to Ramona. Ramona is next up on Pushing the Limits. Hi, Ramona.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good, Ramona. Thanks for calling in. What's on your mind?
I'm glad you brought it up about how Trump bad talks our veterans.
Mm-hmm.
Because I come from a military family. My father served, and both of my children served.
Wow.
My son was in the Army, and my daughter was in the Navy. My son was in the Iraq War in the very beginning of it.
Wow, God bless your
he's-
family. Wow, thank God for them. You sounds like you have a family of heroes, and that's really I really appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, I'm very proud of them. But like
You
I
should
said, my
be.
son's, he served 2 tours in Iraq, and he came back disabled.
Oh,
And,
I'm so sorry.
Yes, and, he's got physical issues, he's got emotional issues, PTSD. And it's really hard to, it's very difficult, to deal with that. I mean,
And I hate to say this, I can't imagine how difficult. I'm so sorry. Your son, what's his name?
His name is Gerald.
Well, it sounds like Gerald risked everything, and he paid such a horrible price for putting everything on the line. And I hate to say this, but it sounds like that's the kind of person that Donald Trump would mock, right? If you don't have a heart and you're not a human being, Donald Trump has mocked disabled and disabled veterans, and that's the type of person, your son, that is literally a hero who risked everything, and now he's disabled because of it. And people like me, I don't get the chance to talk on the radio if not for people like your son and your entire family. It sounds like, quite frankly, who risked it all. And it shouldn't matter whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, right? I mean, I can't stand Ron DeSantis personally, right? I don't think he's a good guy. However, I would never attack his service to this country. He served this country honorably. And when you hear somebody like Donald Trump mock John McCain and say, I don't respect him because he was captured, that should have disqualified him as running for president right there, in my opinion.
Oh, exactly. I mean, another thing, too, is when, he was talking about how, we left, billions of dollars worth of equipment over there.
Yeah.
And my son told me that we always do that. That was theirs anyway. We gave that to them. We trained them.
Mm. Yeah.
And, and he said my son told me they demilitarize everything before they leave.
Right. Yeah. I don't think we should ever allow somebody to even run for president if they dodge the military, right? I mean, it's one thing if you didn't serve. I'm not saying you have to serve to run for office, but at the same time, I'd like to vote for people that served. Seth Moulton is somebody who's a congressman out of Massachusetts who's done this show before, and he ran for president. And here's a guy, a Purple Heart recipient, right? Those are the types of people like your son, people like members of your family. Those are the people that I want running for office. They risked everything. They put everything on the line. And those are the people who I have the utmost respect for, the opposite of the orange man, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and it just makes me so angry when he badmouths them. He badmouths everything about our country. How can we vote for someone who badmouths our country? I don't understand that.
It's a very, very good question, and I'm going to be honest with you. Every Republican that I have in studio that are running for office, that are Trump supporters, I ask them that very question because it boggles my mind. I know decent human beings that will support Donald Trump, and it boggles my mind. It really does. A guy that wants our economy to implode. He's said it out loud. A guy who is a wannabe dictator who dodged the military, who calls our brave men and women in uniform suckers and losers, attacks women based on looks, a liable rapist. And there are decent people in this country that will support this guy because he has an R next to his name. It absolutely boggles my mind.
Well, unfortunately, my daughter, who was in the Navy, she's a Trump supporter. And my son, I mean, of course, he's not, but she is.
Yeah.
And, she refused to even speak to me for the longest time. We got into an argument over him, and she wouldn't speak to me for the longest time.
Yeah.
And, how do you deal with that, when you got a close loved one?
Very, very, very difficult situation. While I haven't stopped talking to family members, I can tell you this. If a family member was obsessed with Donald Trump, to the point where they're not just going to vote for him, but they buy all of his paraphernalia, his hats, his shirts, you name it, and they can't even own the fact that, some of the terrible things that Donald Trump has said and done in his life, and then they'll call Joe Biden a pedophile or whatever. If they're one of those people, while this might be, I don't want to talk to them, and it sucks because, if they're a member of your family and you love them, but, I have nothing in common with that individual, right? Friend, family member, you name it. I don't want them in my life. And that's very difficult, especially when it's a family member that you love. But, I don't think there's any easy answer there unless every single time you hang out with that person and you love them, you make it a point to tell them, never bring up politics or I cannot hang out with you. That's the only other explanation or answer that I can give you. I appreciate you. I appreciate the heroes in your family that have risked everything, and obviously you've risked a lot as well. I want to hear more from people like you who love this country and members of your family that put it all out on the line, and I appreciate your call. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll take calls on the other side. Here's what we'll do. So coming up next, you're not going to want to miss this. Her name is Eva Chase. She is a transgender woman, and she is running for office right here in the great state of Nevada. Plenty of questions to get to with her. Anybody that's running for office and transgender is up against the 8 ball when it comes to so many on the right. I want to talk to her about that. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, Eva Chase will be joining us in studio. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
My name is Hunter Kane, and I'm talking with you for a call to action for our veterans in Clark County. Who is Hunter Kane? Well, I'm a decorated combat veteran, veteran community leader, and candidate for Clark County Commission. You know, no veteran has served on the commission in nearly 30 years, which is why our veteran homelessness, unemployment, and suicide rates are out of control. So here's the call to action. June 11th, vote veteran, vote Kane for Clark County. Let's rally behind someone who's been in the trenches, who knows the sacrifices, and who's committed to making a real difference. Join the campaign by searching Elect Hunter Kane on social media or go to www.electhunterkane.com.
Did you know that 99% of air conditioning issues start with airflow issues? Well, guess what? Pioneer Air has your back. They've been operating for 20 years in the industry within the Las Vegas area, large enough to handle all your air conditioning and heating needs, but small enough to know your first name. Pioneer Air focuses on preventative care, much like wellness checks for humans. They believe in wellness checks for air conditioning and heating systems to extend the life of the system you own. So what are you waiting for? Schedule your wellness check with Pioneer Air today. The number to call is 702-831-4840. Here's the best news. Mention this ad and you'll receive 10% off. Call Pioneer Air today. 702-831-4840. That number again, 702-831-4840.
Buying or selling a home is a huge life event that requires guidance from an expert in the industry and community. My name is Blake Wynn. You may recognize my name as my grandfather was the best governor the state of Nevada has ever had. Growing up in Las Vegas, I've come to know this community intricately. Now, I am raising a family here as well. So I understand all the issues impacting our home and quality of life. As the top realtor for the #1 real estate team at Keller Williams, you can have confidence in my experience, knowledge, and track record. When it comes to buying, selling, or investing in real estate, choose a name you can trust and someone who understands the community you call home. Call Blake Gwynn today and experience the difference of a trusted expert. 702-540-3311.
I'm Eva Chase, a candidate for Nevada State Assembly District 16, former Lieutenant Governor candidate, Progressive Independent Democrat, U.S. Air Force veteran, college graduate, fully transitioned transgender woman. I support women's rights and veterans and unions and other progressive ideas. Please donate to my campaign on Spot Fund and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X. Stay progressive, everybody.
All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a very busy news day on a Thursday. I appreciate everybody for watching. Boy, we're on all sorts of different platforms here, and I'm very appreciative. Of course, we're on the FM AM dial, the great people here at KSHB who do a wonderful job. Justin is my producer. Mark Hayes, the general manager here. Very appreciative of them. The Occupy Democrats Network, where we're averaging like 40 to 50,000 views a day. Washington Press, that network has 1.5 million followers. We're a part of their network as well. The Occupy Democrats YouTube page, of course, my YouTube page, Facebook, Twitter, or it's called X now. We're everywhere, and I'm so humbled because this show continues to grow every day. More great advertisers that sign up, and I'm really humbled by that. And I'm also humbled by candidates who are willing to put it all on the line. And it doesn't matter what their sexuality is, what their gender is, no matter the situation. When you're willing to put yourself out there and run for office, knowing that there's going to be haters out there, I really respect anybody that's willing to do that. And the person we have with us in studio is certainly no exception to that. So her name is Eva Chase. Her story is interesting, and is an interesting one because she is a transgender woman, and she's running for State Assembly District 16. And I've interviewed her before, and nobody knew who she was last time she ran for office. Literally, she had never run for office before. She has a good job. 7,000 people voted for her. I think that's quite an accomplishment. And Eva joins us in studio right now. Eva, thank you so much for being here. How are you?
I'm fine, Brian. How are you on this beautiful day?
I am doing well. You know, how did that make you feel, by the way, when you're new to politics and you run for office and you'd done my show a few times and 7,000 people said, I want Eva to represent me? Because I don't know what that feels like. What does that feel like when 7,000 people take time out of their day and go to the polls and vote for you? That's a lot of people, by the way. 7,000 people is more people we get at a UNLV basketball game. So,
that's true.
That's a lot of people.
Well, I was very humbled and honored that people around the state of Nevada felt compelled to listen to what I was saying and felt like I had a vision that they could follow.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a great learning experience, and I'm taking that experience into this campaign for Nevada State Assembly District 16,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm expanding what I'm doing on the campaign,
Mm-hmm.
not just radio ads. I'm doing business visits and going to endorsement meetings, and just took that experience and using it to do better this time.
I love that. I love that. You know, maybe it's just the way I was raised, Eva, but I was raised to not hate on people or judge people if their sexuality is different than mine, if they're transgender, for example, what the color of their skin is. You know, yes, I do rag on Donald Trump's supporters, but not because of their sexuality or what they look like, because of their positions on political issues, right? Social issues. But it gets me, I guess I just can't relate to it. I don't understand how somebody can wake up in the morning and dislike somebody like you without knowing you personally like I do, and dislike you just because you're transgender. Now, I understand that most of the people in this country do not feel that way. Most of the people in this country are good people. I'd like to think that. And they want people to live their life no matter what their sexuality is or what their gender is or whatever, right? I'm one of those people. But there still is a large portion, sadly, it's not small, a large portion of the MAGA Republicans in this country that judge people like you, which I find repugnant and despicable. What would you say to those people who would maybe never vote for somebody like you because you're transgender, or wouldn't vote for Pete Buttigieg because he's gay? I can't relate to that. What do you say? What do you think about those people? And what do you say to those people?
I would say don't judge a book by its cover. If you go buy a book and you don't like the title of the book, but when you pick up the preface or you read the first few chapters, you might say, hey, this is a great book. I'm going to read it.
Mm-hmm.
Or a local restaurant that doesn't look like anything on the outside, but yet when you go in and the food is to die for. It's the same thing with a political candidate. You have to look underneath. You have to look at what they stand for. What are they going to try to do to help you as an individual?
Right.
Because, Brian, the bottom line is this. I'm going to have people hate on me no matter what. And I would tell anybody, I will work for you even if you don't vote for me. I will try to make your life better.
We need more politicians like that, right?
Yes.
We need more people that are going to say, listen, I have an R next to my name or a D next to my name. I know there's going to be people that aren't going to like me, but I'm still going to work for you. Even those that dislike me because of what I look like or whatever, I'm still going to work for you, right? And I just feel like there are politicians there, Donald Trump being one of them, former politician, hopefully never gets back in office again, but the opposite of that. He's only going to do anything for you if you're loyal to him. You have to bow down to him. And that's not somebody that I would ever vote for, right? That's not somebody that I would ever support. So her name is Eva Chase, transgender woman running for Assembly District 16. We do have some nice comments out there. Peter on social media says, Eva, all the power to you for standing up and doing what you can do to change things for the better. Big round of applause to you. And I would tend to agree. You know, when you put yourself out there in public, no matter who you are or what you look like, and you run for office, you're out there, right? You're out there, your personal life, everything. And not always an easy thing to do, right? Not always an easy thing to do. Have you had Republicans? I know there's a lot of Democrats that support you, but have you had Republicans out there coming up to you that have been cordial to you and said, listen, I really appreciate what you're doing? Have you had Republicans do that?
Well, first of all, Peter, thank you for that very nice comment you did on social media. I appreciate that. To answer your question, Brian, I haven't had too many Republicans walk up to me and say, I think you're all that in a bag of chips. So I'm going to consider crossing over and looking at you. I haven't had much of that at all, but I've had a good response from everyday people when I run to them, when a Lyft driver or coworkers or, whoa, it fell off my head.
Yeah.
Live radio.
Yep,
Okay.
that's right.
Anyway, but coworkers, Lyft drivers, people I see in the mall, most everybody is very receptive. Shop owners.
Well, that's nice to hear.
Yes.
That's nice to hear.
But no Republicans.
Yeah, well, why do you think that is? Are they just, are some of these MAGA Republicans just trained to just hate people? Like, I don't understand. They only want people to be like them. Like these people, Eva, and I've interviewed some of these morons, and yes, some of them are, that like protest in front of Target, right? Mothers, people with families that wake up in the morning and say, geez, I don't like them selling those pro-LGBT shirts at Target, so I'm going to take my entire day, I guess they think this is productive, with their signs and their MAGA signs, and protest in front of Target trying to persuade people not to go into that store. Now, I told them to F off. I was there one day, and I just called them a bunch of complete morons. But, like, what is their brain just programmed differently? Like, I don't understand it. Like, what type of person are you that you wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to protest in front of Target because I don't like the shirts they're selling? Like, it takes a certain type of person to do that, right?
Yes, you have to be very petty and very close-minded and not being able to envision the future.
Right.
Not seeing other people around you. You have to see the whole world around you. The world does not revolve around one individual. And these folks that do that, I guess they've got nothing better to do than go down and protest in front of a store because that store is selling something they don't like.
Yeah, yeah.
And I find it very non-productive, a waste of time.
Yes.
If you have that kind of passion for something, why don't you put it into something that will benefit people as a whole in our society?
Amen.
Not just protesting because you don't like it's an LGBTQ shirt that you don't like.
It's absurd, right? So here's a question that Republicans ask Democrats all the time, and they like to attack Democrats on this. I'm going to ask it to you. I mean, I think it's somewhat of a ridiculous question, but I do want to hear, I am interested to hear your answer as a transgender woman. What defies a man? What defies a woman? What is your definition of a man? What is your definition of woman? I hear a lot of different answers from different people. Republicans like to chastise Democrats, but that's not why I'm asking you the question. I'm truly interested in what in your opinion as a transgender woman, what defies someone as a man or as a woman?
It's more than just being born with physical parts that make you, quote, a biological specimen of some type. It's an attitude. It's your soul, how you view yourself mentally. When you wake up in the morning, no matter what you look like, if your mind and your heart and your soul is telling you you're a woman and you're in a man's body, you are a woman because you see yourself as that. It's the same the other way. If you're a woman and you see yourself in the mirror, but you don't think you're a woman, you think like you're a man, then you're a man. Then it's up to the individual person to decide what they want to do with that image of themselves.
Right.
Do they want
Right.
to dress like a man, dress like a woman?
Yeah.
Do they want to go get the surgeries like I did, take the hormones? Some people don't do that.
Right.
They just get dressed and go out
And
dress
do
as
it.
they want. Do
dress,
it.
Dress where you want.
Why
so
not?
here, so I agree with what you're saying. Here's kind of like where I land on this whole thing, right? Whether you're born a man or born a woman, whether you want to be called a man or a woman, I don't care. I'm going to call you and with respect to whatever you want to be called, and I have no problem with that. I also have no problem with anybody who wants to do whatever they want to their bodies so long as it's legal. I want people to live their life. I want people to do what they want to do and live their life and have fun and just live your life and be who you are. No problem with that. And I think you know that about me. The one issue that I do have is when you're born a man, transition to a woman, I don't believe you should be competing with biological women on the playing field in college, high school sports. I think that's a danger to women because I think they have a physical advantage in a lot of situations. So that's the kind of thing that I think should not be crossed, and I think we kind of agree on that. I don't care what bathroom you go in. You know what I get so frustrated, Eva? Well, with so many things that right-wing Republicans do these days, but this is one of them. Some of these right-wing MAGA bigots, and some of them are, they make the case that if you're a transgender going in another bathroom, that somehow that will make it easier for you to molest a child or something. And I think to myself, do you realize how stupid that is? First of all, if you're that much of a sick criminal human being that you want to molest a child, that if it says men's room or women's room on there, that's going to be a deterrent from stopping you to go in. To me, it's just such a ridiculous argument. And there are people that think that way out there, right? I don't know. It drives me nuts. I don't know what you think. It just drives me crazy.
Well, you're right about that. If you go back in a few days, well, it's more than a few days, a few minutes, back several years now, North Carolina tried to put in place that bathroom law.
Yeah.
And in a lot of MAGA Republican states, they're making it next to impossible for any transgenders to be identified with the right pronouns or going to the right restroom or anything to that effect. And it, as a transgender woman, I'm gonna be honest with you, Brian, if I went into a man's restroom now, I'd think, oh my God, I'm in the wrong restroom. Because I'm not a man anymore.
But I wouldn't care.
You know? No.
I wouldn't care. I go in there to do my business.
Yes.
And then I leave.
Yes.
I'm not looking at other people.
Nope.
That's the last thing I want to do. I'm taking care of my business and I'm leaving.
That's what you do when you go in the restroom. You go in, you do your business, you wash your hands, you brush your hair, whatever you're going to do
If
when
you
you
have
leave.
hair. Yeah, I'm not lucky enough like you. I don't know.
Well, you're fine without hair.
Thank you. But I just don't understand that. Why don't we open up the phone lines and take some phone calls? Eva Chase is joining us in studio. She's running for Assembly District 16. She is an open transgender woman, and I certainly have a lot of respect for her and what she's done. And we're taking your calls. Let me give out that number, 702-221-7283. 702-221-SAVE, 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you'd like to be a part of the conversation. We've been talking about a number of different subjects, by the way, on this show. We talked about Hunter Biden and the sham hearing that took place yesterday. We've been talking about Mitt Romney. Somebody calls in and says Mitt Romney's a loser. I said, why? Because he gave us Barack Obama. By that standard, I guess Donald Trump's a loser, but no, MAGA Republicans will never admit that. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Kava, who's next up on Pushing the Limits, who's been waiting patiently. Kava, thank you for calling in. What's on your mind?
Hey, so I'm LGBTQIA plus. I'm bi, and I support Eva 100,000%. Now, these MAGA Republicans love to whine about transgender people, and I don't understand it. It makes no logical sense to me. All they want to do is whine, cry, and bitch about it 24/7. And I just want Eva to know that you are supported 1,000%. I will back you 1,000%. I live in the red state of Kansas, and if I could vote for you, I would 1,000%. Please know that you are always supported day in and day out. You have my vote regardless.
Well, that's very nice of you. Eva, if you want to respond to that, go ahead.
Thank you so much to know that it feels great to know that someone out there has my back because I've got yours. This is the very reason why I am running for public office, to represent everybody, but, and it might sound a little selfish, but to represent the LGBTQ community, gays, anybody that is different than the norm and the status quo. And I just love the opportunity to know that I can have the opportunity to represent you or when I win my election this year. Thank you so much for that wonderful support, and thanks for the vote. Spread the word.
Hey, always trust and believe that we will get you in, and we will help you win this thing once and for all.
Well, Kava, that's very kind of you, and I appreciate you calling in, and we appreciate, Eva, appreciate your support, and as do I to this program. So thank you so much. Nice to hear that.
Also, Brian, also know that I support you 1,000%. Even if someone gives you a hard time, please understand that those MAGA demons, they don't care about anything of themselves. They don't understand you. They don't know you as a person. They don't understand that you're doing what you're doing because you're tired of their crap. You've had it.
Yeah, I've had
and I stand with you 100%.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Kava. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing so long as good people like you out there keep supporting this show. And this isn't anything new for me. I've been very frustrated with this people ever since Donald Trump took office, quite frankly. It drives me nuts. They drive me crazy, these people. And it's not because I have Trump derangement syndrome. It's because they have Trump fellatio syndrome. Sorry, Eva. That's my immature joke that I have to put out there from time to time. They say I have Trump derangement syndrome. The people that are deranged are the ones that Trump was talking about when he said I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and they would still vote for me. Those are the people that are deranged. 702, thank you for the call, Cav. I appreciate you. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Is that Walter? Walter is next up on Pushing the Limits. Hi, Walter.
Hey, what's up, bro?
How you doing, Walter?
No, I'm from Hawaii, and I moved Vegas. We got the aloha. You know, when we look at gay people, we call them fags. We laugh. We don't hate them. We know nothing. We never. I got family who's gay. To me, they're more successful and they're more down to earth. They understand more. They're more real than Republicans are rude and you like just punch them out.
Well, you know, you're right. When I think of people who might be transgender or people that are gay, you know what it is?
That's about it. I don't make it a whole nothing against it.
No, I know that.
I think they got the right to do what anybody else got the right to do.
Of course. When I think of these people, I think of people that know what it's like to be discriminated against, unfortunately. And they're some of the most accepting people that I've ever met in my life. Kind-hearted, accepting people. And they know what it's like to be discriminated against. And we hear these middle-aged people... Straight middle-aged.
I got a nephew. He's into business. He's successful. He's good. I got a nephew who's a fireman. I know so much good, and they're more successful because they're more real in life. They're more real.
They've been through it, right, Eva? They've been through it.
Yeah. They're tired of hearing so much people's bullshit.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. I appreciate the call, by the way. I appreciate your perspective. Thank you very much. And you know, it's interesting what he said because, you know, and I really, truly mean that. We all have to go through adversity in our lives in one way or another. But I believe that if you're transgender, gay, whatever, black, you really know what it's like to have to deal with discrimination. People don't even know who you are as a human being, and they just judge you. But doesn't that make you could speak to this, doesn't that make you, in a sense, a stronger person, right? It makes you stronger, doesn't it?
Totally stronger, because you're facing something that sometimes can be out of your control, and you have to have that inner strength to confront it and make it a positive to make you a stronger person.
Yes.
So that's it. That is a big,
Yeah.
a big thing I run into on a daily basis.
And these right-wing conservatives, let's talk about the middle-aged white men who say who they say they're threatened, and they're so threatened by migrants and brown people, and they're so threatened by all these people that don't look like them. They feel like they're the ones that are being discriminated against, and I just laugh at them. It's such a joke. First of all, whether people want to admit it or not in this country, there is something called white privilege. And when you are white in this country, yes, I think it's a systemic racism does exist. And I also think when we talk about discrimination, and people talk about, say, a gay pride parade, for example, right? Why don't we have a straight pride parade? Ignorant MAGAs will make statements like that. Well, because straight people aren't discriminated against, last I checked. If you're straight in the United States of America, you're not discriminated against or treated differently because you're straight. In fact, I've gone into gay bars before, some accidentally, but I've gone in, and I was treated fine. I was treated very fair. I was treated nice. I wasn't harassed, right? But if you're somebody who's gay in this country and you're openly gay, you can't tell me that you're not treated the same as somebody who might be me, right? It's not the same. It's not the same. And this drag queen reading, these attacks on drag queens in this country too. I don't understand why people can't just leave people alone and treat people different, the same, regardless if you disagree with their sexuality or whether they're transgender or not. And this is an issue we've had in this country all along, but it leads me to another question before we get back to our calls at 702-221-7283. And my question is this, Eva, which is I think it's a very simple one. Can you explain to people what it is like to walk into a room or a crowd or wherever and to be looked at as different? Not knowing who you are as a human being, but to get a look from somebody, because I'm sure, sadly, you've had to deal with that. What is that like? Because I can't even imagine how difficult that has to be.
It's a bit like walking on broken glass when you walk into a room barefooted. You have to accept the fact that there are some people that just aren't going to like you, and you kind of you ask yourself, it's like in Animal House when the guys are going into the frat house, and Flounder, he kind of smells under his arms, that kind of a thing. So people won't think he smells bad or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a case of people just don't want to accept people who they truly are. And all I can say is you've got to have so much self-confidence to overcome anything that's been said to you. People look at you funny. They purposely call you the wrong pronoun. They purposely they will dismiss you. They will just disrespect you. You got to be above all that. Have your own self-dignity.
Yeah.
And be strong no matter what.
Amen. Yeah, very, very well said. And I wish people like you didn't have to go through that, but you do, and we have to call them out for it. 702-221-7283. Again, that number 702-221-SAVE. Let's go to Antonio, who's next up on Pushing Limits. Hi, Antonio. You're next. How's it going?
Hi, I'm doing okay. You guys can hear me all right?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, awesome. I just had a question. It's Eva, right?
Yep.
Hi, Antonio. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. I had a question. One of my best friends who I've met about 3 years ago, one of my best friends in the entire world, he is not fully transitioned yet. He plans to be female to male. I just was wondering if you had any advice to give or any pointers of what to expect or anything in the transition as he goes into actually what he is into the male that he will become. Do you have any advice?
So Antonio, if I understand correctly, he's going from male. He's going
Female to male.
Female to male.
Yep.
All right, Antonio. This is what he's probably going to be going up against. I'll give you the layman's terms. He's going to have some testosterone boosters and estrogen blockers. So he might have to even take injections for that, or maybe oral hormones. And I would recommend, I don't know how far he will be in his transition at this time, but start wearing men's clothes and start identifying more as a man rather than a woman. And down the road, if he feels that he wants to take the next step, then he can have surgeries that will change his body physically. But he doesn't have to have the surgeries to identify as a man.
Yes. And as far as the surgeries go, do you know of any resources to find information about those? Because he has told me that they can be rather expensive. I don't know if there's any resources to get to find something more affordable or attainable. Do you have any?
In my situation, I was very blessed because I had really good health insurance where I work. I've had both surgeries done. One I paid out of my own pocket, and one I paid with insurance. In his case, he needs to have a good insurance plan that will cover certain surgeries on his body, and he could contact maybe the local, the LGBTQ or the gay advocates community where he's at, and ask them if they have some doctors in the area that do type of surgeries and that will provide what insurance they take. But he needs good health insurance, and otherwise it's going to cost him an arm and a leg.
Antonio, I wish your friend the best of luck. Really good questions,
Thank you, Brian.
and I appreciate you calling in. Thank you so much, Antonio. Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Eva, do you think there should be an age restriction or any age limitations for somebody that wants transgender surgery?
I love these questions. These are so great. Part of me says younger, but I'm going to go with 18. And this
Interesting. Okay.
This is why. Because when you're 18 years of age, you are a little more older, and you've had a chance to live as you were. And you have had a chance to transition at a slower pace. Plus, you are of legal age. You can join the military.
Okay, but let me give you a little bit of pullback.
Got it.
Not that I disagree with you.
Right.
But if someone would say, or I would say, 16-year-old,
yeah,
parents are all for that person having transgender surgery. They've gone to the therapist. They've gone to the psychologist. They've gone to the medical experts. And everyone understands that this is the decision and we're not talking about a 7 or 8-year-old because I do think that's too young.
Yes.
16-year-old, past puberty, whole life has wanted to be a man. Born a woman, wants to be a man. The parents are all on board with it. The legal guardians say yes. The medical professionals say yes, this person is sane. What would you say to that family? Do you think the government should be allowed to get involved and say, nope, got to wait until you're 18? What are your thoughts on that? I know it's a case-by-case basis, but I'm just giving you that specific case.
Well, in that case, if all the dots are connected, I say go for it and do it at 16.
Okay.
But I think that through government means and legal means, 18 is a little bit better age simply because you are, quote, a legal adult to make that decision on your own.
So
but
I've changed.
16's okay.
I've changed my position on this a little bit. I do think even if medical professionals are involved, I do think if you're pre-puberty, I just think you got to wait. And listen, I can't even comprehend how difficult that must be to be in a body that you don't want to be in and want to be the opposite sex. That must be hell. With that being said, I don't want to tell people what to do, but if you're 8, 9, 10 years old and you're pre-puberty and you want to have transgender surgery, you can't go back, right? Even if the parents okay it, I feel like there has to be some sort of age restriction. Now, with that being said, Republicans, some of them, make it sound like these types of surgeries are happening to 6-year-olds and 7-year-olds every day. They're not. It's very rare. But with that being said, I do think there needs to be some sort of age restriction. You say 18, okay. Maybe I would say 16, but somewhere around there I'm comfortable with. I'm not comfortable, and even though they're not my kids, and I don't like getting involved, with a 7 or an 8-year-old having transgender surgery, I do think that is too young. Would you agree with that? Yeah.
Oh yeah, pre-puberty. Yeah. Oh no way. You now, what you could do in pre-puberty, if you wanted to, you might take a lot of grief for it, but if you identify as a female, wear some female clothes.
Right.
Now you're going to get or you're going to get ripped at school for it.
Right.
And you might get sent home by the principal because they don't.
There's lawsuits involved with that. Yeah.
But I mean, if you can't do it in public, live as you want to at home with your parents' blessing.
Right.
And when you get older, and you've done all the research, and you've done all your treatments, and you're ready for surgery, hey, God bless you. Go do it.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I just think we have to be so much more reasonable. Now, I think people that have watched you on the show, listen to you, they know a lot more about you. But if they want to continue to know more about you, Eva, where do they go to learn a little bit more about you personally and your run for office for State Assembly District 16?
I am all over social media, Facebook, X, or as you said the other day, XYZ or whatever
Right.
it was.
Right.
And Instagram and TikTok. And of course, I have some TikToks that I've put out asking people to join my campaign on a support staff, and I've put my email out there. They can contact me with my email. I won't put it off all over the air, but mainly on the four social medias, and I'm just basically everywhere. I mean, I'm all over it.
Good. And so if you want to learn more about Eva and her run for office, State Assembly District 16, find her on social media, whether it be Facebook or X, and you can learn more about her and you can contact her on there. I think it's important to support people like yourself who are good human beings, good people who want to do good for not just really Las Vegas or Clark County or the state of Nevada, but for the entire country. And we need more people like you in office, and I really genuinely feel that way. That's how I vote. I mean, number one, I vote on character. And, you know, Mitt Romney said it best on CNN yesterday when asked, will you be voting for Trump over Biden? He said, absolutely not. He talked a little bit about policy, but he talked about character. And that's why I respect somebody like Mitt Romney, and that's why I have respect for somebody like yourself. Character is number one, in my opinion. Policy's two for me. Character is number one. We need more people with character in office, Republican or Democrat. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. We need more people with character. Sadly, in Washington, D.C., there's not a lot of people on the far right that have character. Sorry, I'm just going to throw it out there. There's some people on the left that I have issues with as well. But, Eva, it's always a pleasure having you in studio. Always a breath of fresh air and some good callers and some good questions for you, too. I love it. I love the questions that we got. And I wish you luck in your campaign, and I know we're going to be hearing more from you down the road, and we'll have you in studio again soon in March. And appreciate you being here as always, Eva. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here. And everybody, 2 words, stay progressive.
Yes.
Eva Chase, Nevada District 16, State Assembly.
There you go. She's got my support, and I hope your support as well. You could also find me, speaking of support, on the Occupy Democrats page. Click subscribe on there. It's only $5. It's a cup of coffee every month. You get more from me on there, and you get to talk to me directly. Also, my YouTube page, personal YouTube page, which is at PTL Radio Show. We're starting to grow that. At PTL Radio Show on the YouTube page. You could also find me on all forms of social media. X, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, to name a few. At PTL Radio Show. I appreciate Eva joining us tomorrow on the show. Carmine Sabia is going to be joining us. Very popular right-wing podcaster going to be joining us on the show tomorrow. I'm going to find out why he still supports Donald Trump. Nicole Mitchell is going to be joining us on the show tomorrow. Former pastor turned OnlyFans model. Really, I love having her on. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Really appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.
Hey,
Hey, everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn?